I never could have envisioned myself as the one calling in the police about my own house. And yet that's where this nightmare began. I stood on my driveway watching 2 patrol cars roll in, the lights flashing against my newly painted shutters. As some middle-aged woman in a pastel cardigan shrieked like I was some kind of intruder, "He's trespassing. Remove him now," she screeched, jabbing a trembling finger in my direction. The officers exchanged that, "Look that, here we go again," look before stepping out. One of them approached me calmly and asked for ID. I didn't bat an eyelid. I handed him my license. "I just moved in last month," I explained, steady and clear. "This is my house. I have no idea who she is or why she's accusing me. Her face is colored red. It's ridiculous. I'm the owner's wife. My husband and I have lived here for years. This man is lying." While one officer radioed in my information, the other tried to get her to dial down the meltdown. I just stood there, strangely calm, because the truth, at least, was concrete. A few tense minutes later, the radio crackled. The officer's whole demeanor shifted. "Ma'am, county records confirmed this property was purchased by him 5 weeks ago. He's the legal owner." Her face went white. Her jaw opened, closed, opened again, nothing came out. I'd had visions of this. House for almost 10 years, and every spare dollar went to its eventual purchase by jumping from cramped apartments to smaller ones. Waiting on that time, I would finally buy a place of my own. And now, I had it a modest 3-bedroom in a quiet suburb full of tidy lawns and friendly neighbors. Well, mostly friendly. I knew the neighborhood had an HOA, and that didn't bother me. Rules keep things looking nice. What I didn't expect was her. I didn't even know her real name at first. She introduced herself as Mrs. Wilkins, president of the Sunny Pines HOA. On my second day, she appeared at my door holding a massive binder, her smile looking more like a warning than any kind of welcome. She launched into a robotic rundown of the rules. No visible trash cans, weekly lawn mowing, no overnight parking, the usual HOA script. I thanked her, took the binder, promised to read it, but it didn't stop. 3 days later, I was unloading furniture from a rental truck when she popped up again. "Deliveries are only allowed between 9 and 5 on weekdays," she said stiffly. "It's 4:30 p.m. Friday," I pointed out. She sniffed, muttering something about newcomers not understanding how things work around here, then stormed off. The nitpicking never ended. A note about my grass being a 1/4 inch too long, complaints about the color of my garden hose. She even knocked at 8 a.m. to scold me for leaving my porch light on overnight. Wasteful and against Section 12. Paragraph 4. I stayed polite. Adjusted small things when reasonable, held firm when not. But then things turned. Unsettling. She started questioning my right to even live there. "I knew the Hendersons very well," she said one afternoon, referring to the previous owners. "They never mentioned selling to someone like you. It's the way she said you made my skin crawl." "The sale went through all proper channels," I replied. "Everything's documented." Her eyes narrowed. "I want to see your lease agreement." "I don't have a lease." "I bought the house." She barked out a laugh. "That's impossible. The Hendersons would have told me. You're lying." Then she spun around and stormed off. From there, things got worse. I'd catch her peering over my fence while I was grilling. She snapped photos of me checking my mail, sitting on my porch, even watering plants. Twice, I found her digging through my trash like she was searching for evidence of some imaginary crime. When I confronted her, she said she was doing an HOA inspection and had every right to investigate. Then one evening, I came home to a formal letter on HOA letter, head signed by Karen accusing me of unauthorized occupancy. Alarmed, I dialed the number on the paper. A bewildered board member answered. He had no idea what I was talking about. It seemed Karen had drafted and sent the letter on her own, without board approval. They apologized, said they'd handle it. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. Very wrong. The following week, I left for a 3-day business trip. Before leaving, I locked everything carefully and asked a neighbor to grab my mail. Late Sunday night, exhausted and ready for bed, I tried to unlock my door. but my key wouldn't fit. I tried again and again. Then it hit me like a punch. Someone had changed my locks. A notice was taped to my door. Property under HOA custody owner's spouse has reclaimed residence. For inquiries, contact Sunny Pines, HOA. My stomach dropped. This wasn't harassment anymore. This was a crime. Thankfully, I kept a spare key hidden in the backyard. The back lock hadn't been touched. I slipped inside, nothing stolen, nothing broken, but the violation made my blood boil. I called the non-emergency police line. They told me to take photos, document everything, file a report in the morning. By dawn, I was trying to calm myself with coffee when I heard the rattling of my front doorknob. My heart jumped. I peered through the peephole. It was Karen, key in hand, trying to unlock my door. I flung it open so fast she stumbled back, dropping the key. What exactly do you think you're doing?" I demanded. Her fear flipped instantly into rage. "How did you get inside? This property is under HOA management." "This is my home," I said, voice steady but ice cold. "I own it. You changed my locks without permission, and now you're trying to enter illegally." "That is breaking and entering, Karen." Her face twisted with fury. "You're the one breaking and entering?" "I know the Hendersons personally," she snapped, eyes blazing with confidence she hadn't earned. "They still own this house. Mrs. Henderson is a dear friend of mine. She asked me to watch the property while she's away. You are trespassing, and I'm calling the police right now." Before I could utter a word, she dramatically whipped out her phone and punched 911. 911. "What's your emergency?" the dispatcher asked through the speaker. "There's an intruder in my friend's home," Karen said, layering her voice with overthought fear. "He's threatening me. I'm scared for my safety. Please send officers immediately." She gave them my address, then turned and shot me that smug little smile, the kind that said she genuinely believed she'd already won. "You're making a huge mistake," I told her, keeping my cool. "We'll see," she hissed. "The police will sort this out." Minutes later, 2 patrol cars pulled up, the same officers from before. Karen rushed toward them, launching into her performance as the innocent victim. "I'm the owner's wife," she declared confidently. "This man broke in and refuses to leave." One of the officers turned to me. "Sir, can you provide identification or proof of ownership?" "Absolutely," I said. I kept my voice even, stepped inside my office, and gathered everything: my driver's license, the deed, the closing documents. I handed them over. The officer looked through them carefully, nodding. "These appear legitimate. According to county records, you purchased this home from the Hendersons 5 weeks ago." Karen's confidence wavered, but she tried to claw it back. "That's impossible. Those documents must be forged. I just spoke to Mrs. Henderson last week." The officers exchanged a glance. "Ma'am," one said evenly, "we'll need to verify your identity and your claimed relationship to the previous owners." "Do you have ID?" Karen stiffened. "I don't see why that's necessary. I'm just here as a friend, looking out for their property." The officer's tone hardened. "Ma'am, you called 911 claiming to be the owner's wife reporting a break-in." "That's a serious accusation. Please provide identification." With clear reluctance, Karen pulled out her driver's license. The officer read it, frowned. "Mrs. Wilkins, this address is 3 blocks away. You are not related to the Hendersons, are you?" She faltered, her facade cracking. "Well, no, not technically, but we're close friends. They would have told me if they sold the house. There has to be a mistake." "There's no mistake," the officer said firmly. "Records confirm this gentleman is the legal owner." "Me, how did you get access to this home?" "The homeowner says his locks were changed without permission." The color drained from her face. Well, as HOA president, I have certain responsibilities to uphold community standards. That does not include changing locks on private property," he cut in sharply, "or entering homes uninvited." "Do you have a key to this residence?" Her hands shook as she reached into her pocket and pulled out the key she'd dropped earlier. The officer took it, turning it over in his hand. "Mrs. Wilkins, how exactly did you obtain this key? Why did you change this homeowner's locks?" Her composure shattered completely. "The Hendersons gave me a spare years ago," she cried. "I was just trying to protect the neighborhood from unauthorized occupants." The officer sighed. exchanged a look with his partner, and stepped forward. "Mrs. Wilkins, turn around and place your hands behind your back." Karen froze. "What? You can't be serious." "I'm placing you under arrest for criminal trespassing, attempted unlawful entry, and filing a false police report," said, producing handcuffs. "You have the right to remain silent." My porch, stunned, as they escorted Karen to the patrol car, still yelling that it was all a misunderstanding. Neighbors peeked from windows and cracked doors. Slowly, they stepped out. Some looked shocked, others relieved. After Karen was secured in the cruiser, an officer approached me. "Sir, we'll need a formal statement at the station." Based on the evidence, Mrs. Wilkins is facing several charges. You may also want to consider a restraining order. When the squad cars drove off, a few neighbors finally approached. To my surprise, they weren't angry. They were grateful. Turned out Karen had been terrorizing the neighborhood for years, abusing her HOA role to bully residents over the most ridiculous things. No one had dared to stand up to her, until now. An investigation later confirmed the truth. Karen had been friends with Mrs. Henderson and still possessed a spare key they forgot to reclaim before moving out. Karen took advantage of that oversight, then took it much farther. She'd even hired a locksmith, pretending to be the homeowner, claiming she lost her keys so she could change my lock. Her downfall was quick and brutal. She was charged with criminal trespassing, attempted breaking and entering filing, a false police report impersonation with intent to defraud at her arraignment. The judge set bail at $20,000 and issued a no-contact order protecting me and my property. Karen now faced up to 2 years in prison and more than $10,000 in fines. I'll never forget the look on her face in court, the way her confidence cracked as each charge was read aloud. For the first time, she realized her entitlement couldn't shield her. Not anymore. In the end, Karen thought she could bully her way into power forever. She thought her title, her lies, and her fake authority would protect her. But the moment the truth came out, everything she built on intimidation collapsed in front of the entire neighborhood. Her arrest didn't just free my home, it freed everyone she'd been tormenting for years. The investigation exposed her manipulations, her misuse of an old spare key, the illegal lock change, and the false 911 report meant to get me arrested in my own home. Instead, she walked away in handcuffs, facing thousands in fines, jail time, and a criminal record she'd never outrun. For once, the neighborhood wasn't afraid. For once, justice actually showed up. And if this story taught me anything, it's this: sometimes the war you never wanted becomes the battle that finally sets things right. This is Neighbor Wars HQ, and if you want more real, tension-packed stories just like this, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next neighborhood showdown. Because out here, you never know which neighbor will start the next war.